So I think what I wanted to talk about was your new class, Dynamic 633.
Right.
I think it's called Leadership from the Middle of Organizations.
That's it.
So this is something that you've created and will start this weekend, Saturday?
Actually, I started a week ago.
I started a week ago.
Yep.
Shows you how on top of it I am. And this is something new, something driven by student interest and your own scholarship and practice. So what's it all about?
Well, students have been asking for the last 5 years in the process improvement course, a few students in each class, have asked for advice or suggestions on how they can initiate change without necessarily having it come down from on high. And actually one student asked me point blank, how can I lead from the middle? In fact, I remember telling you about that. And my answer was, you know, I'm not really sure, but you'd have to do it slowly and carefully. About a year ago, I decided to start to look into it, and I found out there's no literature on it. The term is used in England to describe leadership among teachers in schools, but there's no actual evidence that anyone is worrying about it. Akoff used to had a concept which he called power to as opposed to power over. And leadership from the middle is sort of like that, but I actually see it as more of a social process where people recognize how things are and how things might be better. And then they look for others that see the same gap, and they organize themselves to carry out a program at any level, social, psychological, technical change, whatever it is, to close that gap.
Well, in the OD literature, they talk about an individual being an agent of change,
Right.
one who initiates things. This is more integrated in some way. I mean, you're gathering people together. That's not necessarily the primary way to be an agent of change.
Well, most of the change agents have a charter or a sponsor or some kind of a source of connection to power. And leadership from the middle is self-initiated. It is not necessarily, you could think of it as a form of organizational citizenship behavior, but I see it more as a social type of behavior. And I'm actually using 2 books by the Heath brothers, Switch and Made to Stick, because I believe they provide a reasonable psychologically grounded formulation, at least in cognitive psychology. And I see leadership in the middle as balancing A, B, and C, affect, behavior, and cognition.
It's the traditional social psychological approach.
Right.
This is practice. I mean, this is about
This
getting
is all,
something
it's
done.
all practice, right.
That's right. Okay. That's great, and it sounds like it's a great class.
Yeah, we have a good group of students, some very interesting problems. The course will deliver an idealized design of a very simple and sticky leadership from the middle process. And it's also intended to have each of the people in the class apply it to their own particular situation. So right now I have descriptions of leadership from the middle opportunities from about half the class.
That's great. So if this works really effective and you become a fantastic leader, then you get promoted to the top and you have to have someone else do the rest of the leading.
I suspect leadership from the middle isn't necessarily about promotion from the top. It's more about realizing your true potential as a person in the organization. Promotion from the top, as we know, has a lot more to it than simply making a change here and there.
I got it. Well, it sounds great. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Larry.